one of boxing's biggest ring announcers, Thomas Treiber. Appreciate you being on the show. This is Squirt Circle Report, and it'll be on YouTube and Instagram. How you doing today?
I'm okay, man. How you doing today?
Great, great.
I appreciate you having the interest to speak with me, man.
You're very involved in the sport that I love so much in boxing, so I wanted to talk to you. You've been around the world. I mean, literally, you've been everywhere.
Yeah, I've had some above average opportunities. I've been pretty lucky.
Where are you at right now? Back home or?
Yeah, I'm home in San Antonio. Uh, got a week off. I was gone for 3 weeks. I had gone from let's see if I can lower this a little bit. I had gone from England to I had 2 shows in England, Birmingham, and then I went from Birmingham to London, and then I went from London to Los Angeles. So I was gone like 19, 20 days. I got home Sunday. So
Could finally sleep in your bed.
yeah, it feels good to be back in Texas, but I like to work, man. I like to keep busy, and I'm thankful for the work I'm getting. So, I don't like to complain.
Right. No, that's awesome to hear. Like Fight Week in LA this past week. I was looking forward to speaking to you in person, but I know how your schedule was, and I knew it wasn't going to happen. But so I do appreciate that you're coming on here
No,
on
man,
your off time.
anytime. Yeah, they threw a lot at me that I wasn't even expecting, and every day we had something going on with, we had the grand arrivals, then we had the um, public workout, and then we added a 3-fight card, and then we had that Wednesday night after the public workout we had a 3-fight card, then Thursday final press conference, Friday the weigh-in, Saturday the show. Eddie had me do a little fun job. I don't know if you saw it, the darts, him and Crawford.
Yeah, I heard Crawford won that one.
Yeah, so they had me MC that. It was just at the hotel in one of the meeting rooms, but it was fun to be added to some things I don't normally do. And then they had me at the stadium. There was a voiceover that was playing. That was a voiceover I did, regarding winning a possible trip to Saudi Arabia. So they threw a few things at me and really kept me busy. So, but I was very, very thankful to be part of that big event. So.
Okay, yeah, I was at the event. I did hear your voiceover. I didn't know that was you, so that's good. Good to know
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I love that you got the Chicago in the background, your roots. You wanna talk a little bit about that, like how you where it all started, like your how you got into boxing and became a ring announcer.
Yeah. Well, I'm from the Chicago area. I grew up outside Chicago in actually Hammond, Indiana. And that's where I was born and raised. And I was always a big sports fan. Of course, growing up in Chicago, you've got the Cubs, Sox, Bulls, Blackhawks, Bears. And, so I loved sports growing up, and I was always watching sports and just had a real interest in getting into broadcasting at a young age. I didn't know exactly, what I wanted to do, but just had a strong interest in getting into broadcasting and being friends with Eric Jakubowski. He was in my grade, former fighter, and his brother, Marty Jakubowski, of course. Being friends with them, I got the idea to try ring announcing. And I thought that would be an opportunity for me just to get some experience behind a microphone, and never thought it would lead to doing it for 33 years. I started at just
Wow.
17 years of age. I was still in high school. I was 17 when I did my first ring announcing job for a Mark Jakubowski main event that night at the Hammond Civic Center in Hammond, Indiana. And it has led to opportunities I could never have imagined.
That's awesome, and it goes back to also to your work ethic. Like you said it earlier, like you love working, like send you out there, like you're game for it.
I do. I love to keep busy. I think that with any profession, the more you do it, the more relaxed you'll become, the better you'll become. So I always kept that mentality of, trying to keep busy, try to hone my trade, and try and do things the right way. I always wanted to be a professional and, be looked at as a professional.
I got you. No shortcuts or, nothing shady. Just straight. I like that. I like that. Like you said, at 30, 33 years doing it, like when did you like sit back and be like, wow, like I made it. Like I never thought I would reach this pinnacle in my career.
Well, I started doing it locally, and then eventually I started to, travel to other states. And then eventually I started getting work on television. I did my first ring announcing job on national television in 1995. And after doing a handful of shows in 95 on ESPN The Deuce, that's what ESPN2 was called back then. I then ended up getting an opportunity to start doing some shows with Top Rank on regular ESPN. And then from there, it led me to a series on Fox Sports Net called Fight Time on Fox from 97 to around 2000. And that was what I would say was my first big break, because I was put on a 2-year contract with America Presents. The head of America Presents was Dan Goosen. Sadly, he passed away a few years back, but his brother, Joe Goosen, a legendary trainer out of California. And Dan really gave me an opportunity to work on a national level multiple times a month throughout the entire country and be on national TV on a regular basis. So that was a big break, for me to get that opportunity at 24 years of age. And then once that finished up, it led to opportunities to work with Showtime, HBO, many other networks, and then internationally. I think I've worked around a dozen different countries. I work about every month in the UK. Very proud to be honored to be working for Queensberry, Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren's company out of England, and to be part of all these fantastic Riyadh season shows with Saudi Arabia and His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh. I've done 6 now, 5 in Saudi Arabia, and this past weekend in Los Angeles. So, it's
Yeah,
been a real.
when Turkey Al Sheikh came in the scene, and he just like he wanted his fights, and he was paying the money, and I mean it was just huge. I didn't think it was gonna be more than just the first one or the second one. I didn't expect it to keep going and actually hit the States. So when it hit the United States, I wasn't missing it. There was no way that I wasn't going to be in the building for that at all.
Well, it was a great atmosphere, and of course, we had the special performance by Eminem, added
Yeah,
another, level of entertainment to the event. Great crowd, great fights, and I think everyone was very pleased with the outcome. And hopefully, it will be the first of many here on U.S. soil.
right. Did you get to meet Eminem at all, or?
I actually met Eminem years and years ago at a show in Detroit, Michigan at Joe Louis Arena.
Oh, wow.
Sitting ringside. I mean, we're talking over 10 years ago, maybe 12, even up to 15 years ago. Did a show there and had a chance to shake his hand and say hello to him. Then, not on this one though.
I got you. Yeah, it was like you said, you were busy, and it was just a crazy star-studded crowd. It was
It really
amazing.
was. I did get to see Vince Vaughn, who I had met before and had an opportunity to have some cigars and drinks with him many years ago. Believe it or not, Vince used to manage a few fighters, and
Oh,
we had done an ESPN show. I want to say we were somewhere in I can't remember exactly where we were, but we were at a casino, and he was managing a couple of fighters. He was there, and I was lucky enough to be asked to join him and the promoter for some cigars and drinks, and did have a chance to say hello to him on Saturday. So he's a huge fight fan and very knowledgeable on the sport. But yes, many stars: Jeremy Piven,
yeah.
this Alicia Keys, amongst many others. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Chicago was represented well there with Pippen, Vince Vaughn, and Scottie Pippen too. Like we
Oh, I didn't know Piven was from the Chicago area.
well, not from Chicago, but with the Bulls.
Oh,
Just
okay,
the
yeah,
bull,
yep.
the being tied with the Bulls. So Chicago was well represented, and yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but when you're working with Queensberry, did you ever think you would see Queensberry promote with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom like that 5 versus 5? I
I
never
mean,
thought it would happen.
you never say never in this business, but certainly the odds of Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn coming together that the way they have, I certainly didn't foresee that coming anytime soon. But it's been absolutely incredible because the fight fans are getting to see the fights they want to see. And I think that's one of the things that's hurt boxing throughout the years is for whatever reason, whether it be contracts or promoters who just don't like each other, we haven't always gotten the fights that we want to see. So it's been a lot of fun to work with the Matchroom boxing crew as well. They've all been fantastic to work with. Of course, the 5 versus 5 series went in favor of Frank Warren. He
Yes.
had a shutout that night, and that was a lot of fun. It added a lot of extra element of excitement, being that it was Matchroom versus Queensberry. And I'm hearing rumblings that it could happen again, so that would be fun.
I'm sure Eddie wants to run it back.
Yeah. He's got a lot to redeem there, yes.
Yeah, I seen on the like after that they were on the plane or somewhere. They were both joking about it, and it's kind of good to see that they whatever bury the hatchet, I guess, for whatever, and we're gonna see more of that. So that's great for boxing.
I agree.
Like you said, you started at 17, doing what
Yeah.
you did. Like, and what advice you have for the kids, the young adults that are trying to get into the business that you're in?
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. No, boxing is, I always tell people to follow their dreams. I mean, follow your heart, do what you love, because when you do what you love, it's not, it's work and it can be a lot of pressure, just like any job. But when you truly love what you do, you never want to quit. And I'm 51. Buffer is now going to be turning 80 very soon in the next couple of months. And I don't ever want to retire. And I think that's a good measuring stick of whether you really love your profession or not. If you want to never retire, you must really love what you do. And I always encourage anyone who wants to do anything, whether it be ring announcing or boxing or promoting, managing, matchmaking, whatever you want to do in the sport of boxing, I always say go for it and give it your all. Well, as Sammy Sosa used to say, it's been very good to me. Boxing has been very good to me. He used to say baseball's been very good to me. So I've been very, very fortunate to have above average opportunities in this business. And I'm very thankful. I don't ever take any event for granted, whether there's 500 people there or 94,000 like we had at Wembley Stadium when Tyson Fury fought Dillian White. I never take a show for granted, and it's always an honor to put on the tux and represent the sport of boxing.
That's awesome. What was one of your favorite fights or events to be at for any reason, the crowd or the fight itself? Or
Well, I think, as a ring announcer, whenever you get the opportunity to do something you've never done before in your career, it's always nice. It's another notch in your belt, as they say. So, my first opportunity to be on television, as I mentioned a moment ago, to be on ESPN, then my first time to be on USA Tuesday Night Fights. Eventually, I got an opportunity to be on Showtime and then HBO and, and things like that. So being on those big networks for the first time have always been, very special for me. And then working internationally, I don't think there's any bigger honor as a ring announcer than to work in another country, because there are certainly many, many ring announcers out there who do a fine job. So when somebody thinks enough of you to bring you to another country, that's always what I believe to be one of the biggest honors as a ring announcer. And to work as extensively as I have in the UK over the past decade and almost 7 years now, actually next month will be 7 years that I've been with Frank Warren's Queensberry. And it's been just an unbelievable ride. Nothing I could have ever imagined, from arenas to stadiums to now even expanding to working in Saudi Arabia at the Kingdom Arena, where we've been at for our 5 events out there so far. So just being part of these, big events and being on big televised events, that's very, very special.
that's nice to hear. How does the when you're back home, how does the family treat you? Like, Still, Thomas, the garbage is full. Take it out, or it's your
Yeah,
celebrity
exactly.
status.
I've always kept in check. I'm always, I need to remain humble, when I get home. So,
Yeah,
it's great, man.
that's awesome to hear. If you want to clarify this a little bit too, just for the fans, you were on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Is that true?
Yeah, there was a special episode in 2010. It aired. Aired in January of 2010. And how it came about was a promoter I had been doing some shows for was working closely with the E Channel to do an event, a special charity boxing event that featured Kim Kardashian, her brother, and Bruce Jenner. And they wanted to film the fights and then air them on the episode. So I was fortunate enough to be the ring announcer when Kim Kardashian boxed and her brother and Bruce Jenner. So it was a really, really fun thing to be part of. And at that time in 2010, Alex, that series, that reality series, the ratings were phenomenal. I mean, it was just the number one reality show on television. So to get to do what I do as a ring announcer and be on a hit reality show like that, it was definitely a really nice perk, to get to do that. And spent a little bit of time with the family, and they were all very nice to me. And it was a lot of fun. We filmed it in California, in Commerce City, California, Commerce Casino. And it was a real good experience. Nice family.
I honestly forgot she boxed. I remember that now. Like I do remember that episode. Not that I watch it like that, but I do remember her boxing.
Oh,
So
come on, Alex. You got to admit it. You're a big Kardashian fan.
I do have I do have a daughter, so
Oh,
I
okay.
might have caught a glimpse here and there about it. Oh man. And another one that a lot of people don't know about you is the Tommy Tana.
Yeah.
When's the last time you got announced as him? They called you down the aisle as him. And how did that start?
Well, I had a brief professional wrestling career. When I was 17 years old, as I said, I started ring announcing. And at that same time, independent pro wrestling was very popular throughout the Midwest, the Chicago area. And I met a promoter who gave me an opportunity to start ring announcing pro wrestling. So I was doing both ring announcing pro wrestling and ring announcing professional boxing. And at the same time, I was also a bodybuilder. I was very serious into training and bodybuilding, and I wanted to compete in bodybuilding. That was my goal as a teenager. And at 19, I got that opportunity to compete in the Teenage Mr. Illinois bodybuilding competition. I was very fortunate to win the overall. And shortly after that competition, I started getting ideas of trying to wrestle because of the shape I was in, and I was being encouraged by a few wrestlers to give it a try. So, long story short, I trained with a pro wrestler out of the Chicago area, and then eventually I started wrestling on small independent wrestling shows. Sometimes in front of 50 people.
Yeah.
But as luck has it, at one of the events I was on in St. Louis, Missouri, the event was called the Sam Munchnick Memorial. Sam Munchnick was a very successful promoter in Missouri, and a talent scout was there for WCW, World Championship Wrestling, and this is 1993. And they wanted to offer me an opportunity to wrestle as enhancement talent, or as some people call them, jobbers. We're
Right.
brought in to lose, we're brought in to make the stars look like stars. And I did that. I thought it was an opportunity for me to take my professional wrestling to another level, which I did. And it was wonderful. I had an opportunity to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin, who at the time was Stunning Steve Austin. His tag team partner was Flying Brian Pillman. Sadly, he passed away. Collectively, they were known as the Hollywood Blondes. And you could find that match on YouTube if you just put in Hollywood Blondes versus jobber Tommy Tana, Tanna. You'll get to watch that match. I also wrestled Ravishing Rick Rude, a wrestler by the name of the Equalizer, a tag team called the Awesome Kongs that were managed by Harley Race. So I was only 19 years old. So I was just, a year out of high school, and I was, sharing a locker room with some of the biggest stars in professional wrestling. And it was just an unbelievable experience. And I'm very thankful that I got to experience that.
Yeah, and I don't think too many people could say they wrestled with Stone Cold and Ravishing Rick Rude. That's awesome. Do you still keep up with wrestling at all, or too busy?
I do. Here and there, whenever I can, I'll watch a little bit of WWE or AEW. Sometimes when I got a little bit of time in my hotel room or whatever, I'll put it on, and online I'll try and keep up on it a little bit. I like to listen to shoot interviews and podcast shows and stuff like that. I love hearing the stories about the past. And one of my favorites to listen to is Jim Cornette, a legendary manager from back in the day. And he's just great at not only talking about things from the past, but also things that are currently going on in the business. And he's funny, entertaining, and informative all at the same time. So if you're a wrestling fan, check out Jim Cornette. I'm not getting paid for this. I don't even know Jim, but be sure to check him out.
Yeah, I like Jim Cornette because he's not biased. He's not tied into any wrestling federation right now, so he can say whatever he wants, and you know what I mean. So you got to believe him. He got nothing to lose or anything, So I'm a big fan of him. Watching the behind the ring.
Dark Side of the Ring.
Yes, that I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I love those Dark Side of the Ring podcast shows. I love hearing, the behind the scenes stories of things that were going on at certain times and learning about the wrestlers' backgrounds. Of course, today with Wikipedia and the internet, you can find out a lot, but I think they really do a great job of putting together a great story for the fans.
Right. I do miss the from places unknown. I don't think with the internet, those are gone now. Everyone knows where everyone's from now.
Yeah. If your gimmick is as a Russian, they'll know you're from Gary, Indiana pretty quickly.
Yeah. No, but I don't want to keep you too long, but I do appreciate your time and jumping on here with me, Thomas. I do want to hit a fight in the UK. So if I'm ever out there, I'm going to make sure I reach out to you just to let you know. But that is one thing on my to-do list.
Well, I hope you get to do that, and certainly let me know. I'll do everything I can to help you out. And I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. I love, talking about boxing, and I always appreciate anyone who's interested in knowing about, my career. And I thank you very much for this opportunity, Alex.
All right. Thanks a lot, Thomas. All right, everyone. Thomas Treiber.